Here's another story that's widely told about the life of Francis. One day, a band of violent robbers confronted one of the brothers at the place where they were staying. They were hungry and asked for food, but Brother Angelo, a knight who retained some of the haughtiness of his former calling, said they were murderers and sent them on their way. When Francis returned and learned what had happened, he told Brother Angelo with uncharacteristic sternness, "You have behaved like a man with no religion at all." He sent Angelo off to find them with food and an apology. "Serve these unfortunate men with humility and good humor until they are satisfied," Francis told him. "Then, and not until then, tell them to stop robbing and killing." According to many sources of the life of Francis, the robbers were converted, joined the Brotherhood, and lived the lives of saints from that day forward. Well, can you imagine how hard it was for Brother Angelo to serve those robbers in humility and good humor? Can you imagine how hard it was for the people of Gubbio to welcome a wolf into their midst, to trust that kindness would be returned for kindness? Can you imagine how hard it was for the wolf? There are many versions of the Wolf of Gubbio story. One, by Ruben Dario, the poet laureate of Nicaragua, is heartbreaking. Dario's version begins just like the one we saw here. The wolf and townspeople are reconciled, and as Francis leaves town, the wolf is sleeping at the hearth. But in time, the wolf begins to notice how people in the town treat one another, cheating each other in the shops, calling each other names, even abusing one another within the embrace of the family. If they treat each other this way, the wolf thinks, it's only a matter of time before they turn on me. And the wolf returns then to his old ways, killing livestock and threatening people. When Francis comes back to see what happened, the wolf snarls at him to keep his distance. It isn't easy creating heaven on earth. I wonder if it is this fear that is in the hearts of those for whom heaven is a private club. But our faith calls us to another kind of heaven. Starting in our own hearts, we are called to build a heaven of infinite space and radical inclusiveness, not after death, but now. We are heirs to and we aspire to a faith like that of Ibn Arabi, the formulator of Sufism, who said, "My heart has become receptive of every form. It is a meadow for gazelles, a monastery for monks, an abode for idols, the Kaaba of the pilgrim, the tablets of the Torah and the Quran. My religion is love. Wherever the camels of love's caravan turn, love is my belief and my faith." How do we live such a faith when difference comes to us in forms we may find threatening? How do we reach out to include our neighbors? How do we embrace those who have been pushed to the margins? Unitarian Universalism has launched a new multi-faith movement, standing on the side of love, to proclaim solidarity with any whose full human worth and dignity are infringed because of who they are or where they are from. You can sign up in Fellowship Hall after the service to join Reverend Linda and many of us on the March for Full Equality next Sunday at the National Mall. That's one way. Showing up at the Voice Action the Sunday after, that's another way. But what about here in our own congregation? How do we live it here? Do we have the courage to build the bridge as we're walking on it? Are those of us who are white in this community, are we prepared to listen when people of color in this congregation speak their pain? Are we prepared to work together to create a vision that it can be another way? Are we prepared, as our diversity consultant, Paula Cole-Jones, challenged us a year ago, are we prepared to do the work of inclusion? How well do we understand that there is more to this work than simply saying, sure, come on in, join us, but don't expect us to change? Are we prepared to make our own hearts larger, to meet our fears with curiosity, to use our discomfort to open ourselves, to make the circle wider? Because it is in actually practicing this, in doing it when it's most uncomfortable, that we grow our own souls, that we begin to realize, to reify the possibility of heaven on earth. These are Gandhi's words on practice. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behaviors. Keep your behaviors positive because your behaviors become your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. And I think it works the other way too. If we truly value inclusiveness, if we truly believe we can create heaven on earth, starting here in this congregation, that will affect our habits. It will affect the way we behave with one another, the words we use with one another. It will allow us to open our ears in love, even when we hear something spoken in a tone of voice that frightens us. People, we are not alone. We are not some marginal movement with an unrealistic belief in the possibility of utopia. We are not the only ones who think this way. The Pew Center poll shows that Americans, by a large majority, value our multicultural country. But as universalists, as members of a religious community that has as its heritage inclusiveness, as its centuries-old heritage, we have a special opportunity and a particular responsibility to make it live in the world. Right here, right now. Let us claim our destiny, heaven on earth, where all are worthy, all are welcome, all of us together being the change we dream about. May it be so.